to the meat of the training. So, you guys, let's talk a little bit about Vivix Plus. And Michelle just put, I would have 3 new ambassadors from Canada. I will say this, if it were me and I lived in the US and I wanted to go to this event, I would definitely start thinking about how I could build a Canadian team because isn't that the best write-off in the world, right? And Toronto is beautiful. You can go to Niagara Falls. You can maybe go watch a Blue Jays game. Lots of fun
And
things.
I already have
Beautiful
two
city.
people
Oh,
in
we
Canada,
got a.
Jen.
Oh, do you? Oh, you already?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
but they're not active, so it's good that I'm
Get them
dragging
active.
them in the room. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so again, yes, Rose, setting up a table would count for this launch because you're talking to multiple people all the time. So yes, that is an event. You bet your booties. Okay, we're gonna switch gears and talk about launching this bad boy. So I wanted to start with this. You guys, a product release is a release, but it's not a product launch. Okay. So we released this product today, right? It becomes available. Anyone can log on, they can buy it. Corporate announces it, right? A product release. They will give us some assets for it, some information so that we know how to talk about it. People can buy it. And sometimes people will treat a launch, and I like to say it's a launch, as a release, and they're like, well, I'm just gonna sit back and see what happens. Like, I wonder if my customers are gonna be interested. I'm just gonna see, right? I might throw out an email or the odd project broadcast, but I'm going to wait and see what happens. Huge difference between launching a product, right? Like launching a business, launching a product. When you think of any other, let's take direct selling off the table. Think about any business that you know and they'll open, right? So they'll have an opening date. And then what happens typically a few months later? They have their grand opening, a launch, right? And so this is how I look at this, you guys, that we are the ones that create the movement, right? A launch, we're going to launch this. And you can just sit back and wait. You can just talk about it, or you can create the movement. So you create the anticipation in your business. You create the conversation. I was just saying earlier, that like I've done some of my posts have blown up. Hallelujah on that. But I'm telling you, if you see that and you think, oh yeah, she just has it easy because lots of people comment, trust me, like many comments does not equal conversion. I want to just tell you that. Like, do not compare your chapter 1 to my chapter, whatever. For some reason, those posts go crazy, but the sale does not happen right there, you guys. I have to work so hard in the comments to convert people, right? And the more people you get that are in there doesn't necessarily mean that you get lots of orders from it either. I really have to work hard. So I create the conversation. Again, I'm not just dumping a link into anyone's inbox. I'm creating the conversation. I'm asking them questions. I'm really trying to educate them to give them a reason to want to buy it. So we right now, as we launch this, we have to give people a reason to pay attention to us, to pay attention on why this is important. Like I was talking to a crew in Nashville, and I was saying how, in my opinion, this product, okay, so I feel I would consider myself kind of on the like I'm ahead of most people my age with health. Why? Because we're in it, right? Like we live it, we breathe it, we eat it, we talk about it. But when this was launched and they started talking about, I had no freaking clue really how big it was, you guys. I didn't understand it. And it was only through me learning about it and listening to corporate that I understood this product. Okay, so now let's picture our audience. You think you're ahead, like you're ahead of the game in your knowledge, your health. Your audience isn't even there yet. So sometimes we can, do a post and it's just like, because they're not there yet. Like this is something we have to educate on. You create an experience around the product, which we're going to talk about tonight, is going to be a launch. You following up with intention around this and you building the momentum instead of waiting for it is how we launch this product. Okay. So our job today is to create that momentum. Oh, is this? Oh, this is Lorenzo in his living room or someone's living room, I think. Our job is to create the momentum because again, the product doesn't create the momentum. We create the momentum. How many of you heard Sam talking on stage about the Stanley story and that whole story about how, again, Stanley didn't just like ride into this wave of momentum because of the product. It was like chugging along, doing pretty well. It rode a wave of momentum because people just like us created it. Okay. So created it. So momentum comes from that anticipation. It comes from getting people's attention, from education, experience, results, stories, and more attention. And I will say this too. You can post it once and you think like, yay, I've done a great job. You guys, this is something you have to keep talking about. So I was in the test group. So I was fortunate where I could create some conversations a little bit earlier. But I'll tell you, like, I didn't have this like massive ordering frenzy this morning, right? I have to now go and do the work. So the goal isn't simply just to sell Vivix Plus, but we have to create the activity around it so that people start saying, like, what the heck are they talking about? What is this NAD Plus? You guys, because this isn't a simple, it's not like, again, it's not like you can put up a really cute picture of something and everyone's like, oh my God, I want that color. How do I order? It takes a little bit more education. It has to, you have to be able to share, again, your experience, other people's experience for people to really buy into it. And I will say it's a product that does take that. Like we're ahead of the average person in what we know, what we use, but you have to be able to turn around and tell people this. So create that activity. Like I was saying from stage, like I would love to see us blow this up because that is what people start to notice. They're going to start being like, okay, I keep seeing these two little red pills with V's on them in everyone's hand. What is that about? I keep seeing this little like burgundy jar. What is this about? We create that, you guys. Okay. We create that. So the best part of the launch doesn't necessarily happen today, right? On launch day, because again, you all are just getting it and your experience, your stories are just starting to take place. So if you have that feeling like I'm behind, you're not. I want to tell you that you're not. If you feel like, oh, I didn't get a lot of orders today, that is normal, right? You have to start thinking about that wave. Okay, so let's start talking first about in-person events. I have three speakers tonight who are winning, you guys, in what we're sharing. So, I can sit here and talk all night about how great these are, but I really want you to hear from someone who's doing it and who's having results. So, let's talk about why in person is so great. Who has in person booked? First, put it in the chat. And I will say I love social media, but again, you guys, I'm going to use my post right now. I don't even know how many people I sent information to. Let's say 50. If I had those same 50 people that asked for information on my post in my living room, I would convert way more. I know that in my heart. I know that in everything, that every fiber in my being. If they were in my space, in my living room, trying the product, listening to me, I would convert way more. So again, social media is a little bit harder conversion, right? So, yes, you should document Vic. So, again, what do people respond to in person? They get to hear the stories. I shared Jen's story from stage about one of the things that she really noticed with her doing all these events is that her existing customers would come to the event to support, like they do, like, I'll just come and hang out. And you know darn well they're walking into that event and they're like, I am not buying a thing. I've bought all the things. Like, I am not buying anything else tonight. And then they start hearing Mary's story, Jane's story, and she's like, oh, okay, maybe I will want to buy that, right? So Jen was sharing that was one of the huge things that she was like, oh. So again, you guys, even if those people have been to your events, keep inviting, keep inviting, keep inviting, and their energy, their results are going to help someone else in that room build that belief and want to purchase your product. So it also allows us to learn alongside other people. Michelle Best shared her event in our groups. You can go look at the in Impact Collective, and she was talking about a couple sideline sisters of hers asked if they could attend her event. Yeah, of course, because they want to be able to learn, right? So it's a great way that you can partner up, learn from each other. It connects the science and all the like details in the language to the goals and what they're going to actually feel, right? So it gives them the opportunity to hear all sorts of different perspectives. So here's just some events that have been recently. And I'm going to now, Jen, you want to unmute? And I'm going to get Jen to talk a little bit more about this. So I'll just intro this really quickly. So I think a lot of times we overcomplicate events and we freak out because we're like, oh my God, my house, my house isn't appropriate to host in, or I don't have the language. I don't know the science. I am not using it. I just started the product. I don't have my own story. You guys, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Done is better than perfect. Messy action is always, always will be better than inaction. And all of those things, there's tools for it. You could literally stand in your kitchen and you could play Dr. Phil, or you could pull up the information on your phone and read it out. So don't overcomplicate it. The event could be a couple people around your island, in a coffee shop, right? A backyard gathering. I think we had some poolside one photos last time, a wellness night, a lunch and learn. So Jen has been doing these events. That's why I shared her story from stage. And so I'm going to let her take over now because they've been really piloting and they have a whole new kind of event strategy. But I will say strategy with results. Like they've tried these things and tried different aspects of events. So Jen, do you want to take it from me?
Yes, thank you. So the one thing that I would say that we are really excited about is that this isn't just something we're doing here locally. Yes, we do it, every month here in South Jersey, but so many people throughout our team all across the US are creating these experiences in their own communities. So I do want to give a quick shout out to Judy Alvarado, who's hosting a hybrid event in her home in Wisconsin tomorrow, to
Yes.
Megan Clayton and her newest ambassador, Christine Cortez, who literally signed up while she was with us as a customer in Nashville. They're co-hosting her first in-person event this Thursday with a Crossline teammate, Jody Palmer. And then, yes, here locally, Sherry Quintero has been kind enough to open her home for our BioAge event tomorrow night, which we are doing with Tracy Armando, Elisa Fox, and one of my newest ambassadors, Jenny. And I brought up Jenny as a great example of how these events don't have to be in our homes because she owns the Salt Suite here in Voorhees, New Jersey. And she and I originally connected when I reached out about doing a collaborative event at her business. She's one of those that Jen was showing. So when you find a local business with a similar vision, you can bring audiences together, educate, have fun, support one another's businesses. And sometimes, if you're lucky, like with Jenny, that collaboration even turns into a business partnership and friendship. So, for all of us here locally, the common thread that we always want is for people to experience something, not just come and listen to us talk. We've done a sip and samples with stations. We've made overnight oats using Life Shake. For Earth Day, everyone potted fresh herbs and took them home. And that's how we're approaching tomorrow night's BioAge experience because people are coming after work and they may arrive at different times. So we're changing the order a little bit. We're going to start with the interactive portion. We'll have some light food out, which we don't always do, and the guests will get to move through 3 stations, testing their grip strength, their balance, and sitting and standing. Sound familiar to those of us who are in Nashville? We're also going to have a blood pressure cuff and use my Hume scale to do some measuring as well. And so while they're there, they're going to record their numbers just like we did and we can also have them complete their BioAge assessment. So before we ever even sit down to talk about the science, they already have something personal to connect it to. And then we're going to bring everyone together and toast the new Wildberry Sparkling Protein, boomerang social media content moment, right? And then we're going to share the BioAge blueprint, but in our own conversational way. Sherry and Tracy and I are going to talk about chronological age versus biological age, what we learned in Nashville, the science around healthy aging and Vivix Plus, and then connect it all back to what they just experienced. Because now we're not just telling them these numbers matter. They know their numbers because they did the tests. And the natural question becomes, okay, well, what does this number mean? And so we go through that process. And one of the things I love is when we do these together, we divide and conquer and we become each other's third party credibility. So we actually spend time individually with each other's guests. And so we'll be looking at our BioAge assessment results, answering questions, helping those who are there understand where they want to focus. And we're also planning to offer a Vivix Plus pilot group for those who want to keep going and see what happens from there, and that they come back in 2 months and we retake the tests. So I do want to emphasize one important thing, and Jen just brought it up again. The number of people who walk through the door does not determine whether the event was successful. Absolutely invite a lot of people, but know that people cancel, know that people don't show. Sometimes only one or two people come. A couple times way back in the beginning, it was just me, Sherry, and Tracy, and that's okay. Because some of the smallest events have created the biggest conversations, given us our biggest breakthroughs, allowed us to make the biggest impact because we had the opportunity to really connect with the people who were there. So don't decide for somebody else that they won't be interested or that they're too busy or that it isn't for them. Just invite them. Let them make the decision. And your BioAge event, please, it does not have to be like ours. Invite a few people, like Jen said, partner with a small local business. Just let people try some products, meet one-on-one. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to be willing to create the opportunity and then invite the people into it.
I love it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to show you. So they've done, again, these little cute little stations. So grip strength, will you just touch on that one? Because a lot of people are asking how you're measuring it. Because simple.
Yeah, so Sherry actually purchased it. There is a on Amazon. So Sherry, if you want to drop that, I saw that Joni also said because we're doing Joni's launch virtually this week. But you can literally purchase it on Amazon, and it's this thing that you squeeze and you hold for for the number of seconds that it says on here for this particular one, 3 to 5 seconds, and you rest and repeat, and it actually measures your strength. And we enter it in to the booklet onto their tracking sheet, and then we enter it into their assessment.
I love it. Yes, we will put all of this into boards. So you guys don't worry about any of that. I can put, I think someone asked for the slides. I can put everything. Okay, what about the balance? Again, the balance is super easy. You just need a chair. Or was that that was the sit stand? So we sit stand, you need a chair.
Sit stands the chair and you're crossing your arms over your body. Yep. And then you're just sitting and standing. I was challenged with Judy, but anyway, but we both were over 30. That's all that matters.
I love it. And I like the competitive edge, having people
Oh
do
my gosh,
stand
we're pushing
together.
each other.
And again, you guys, okay, like my brain always goes towards like the social content. So you have your women in the living room doing the sit stand competitive, and like you can think of all the social content you could take in your event that then you can put into your stories and be like, yeah, I just hosted a BioAge event last night in my house. They got their score. Like everyone wants to do this. I actually love this idea because I think a lot of times people come to events and it's a lot of standing around, right? Like this is so interactive. And also, like as a mom of boys, I remember that people or my boys paid way better attention to anything that was spoken when they were kind of worn out a bit. And I think that this would be the same for like the women, right? They've come after work, they're exhausted, and then boom, they come in and actually do all of this. So let's quick because we have some time because I've went through everything so quick. Let's talk a little bit. So one thing I loved when I had used your results from stage was you guys, Jen's very detailed and I love it. I actually love it about her. So she tracked like for each event how many invites, how many showed up, how many orders that thing. Can you give people because I think a lot of times you touched on it, but we invite 10 people only and kind of yeah, let's talk about inviting. Let's chat about that.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, for the event that we did at local is obviously different than virtual, right? I mean, I didn't have quite as many people, but I still invited almost 100 people to the event that we did at Jenny's business, the Salt Suite, and and you have so many that say yes. I think you want my virtual numbers, but there's so many that say yes.
It's good.
Okay, so many then that actually show up because it slowly dwindles even before the event's there. You're obviously sending out reminders, staying in touch with them, sharing your excitement, and you think you have 13 people coming, and then 6 people are like, boom, 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 boom. Can't make it. So sorry, so sorry. Right? So you end with 8 people. Well, for that event, 6 of those 8 people became new customers for me. Right? And then Jenny, seeing what was going on, she got a new customer from that event and she became a new ambassador because she saw how we just worked so synergistically together, what our visions were, what we could bring to what she was already offering. And I get a great friendship and a great new business partner.
I love it. And then one other thing that I think is super useful to touch on is so when we started again, you guys, Jen was doing events prior for sure. But when we did the launch week in June, like she kind of went into overdrive, which was so exciting. So this was something that really stood out to me too, is she said to me, let's talk about like just how full your funnel was because of inviting so many people
Yes.
in those events and how that then like feeds all everything else that we have going. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. So for the virtual event, I mean, I'm inviting everyone, right? Why would you invite someone if you're helping out a friend with their pampered chef party? Why do you invite everyone without any question to that? Anyone and everyone, but you don't do it for your own party, right? So I'm like, I'm inviting everyone. I invited over 300 people to the virtual event. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. I reached out to Sam and I'm like, 2 days before, I'm like, I only have 8 yeses. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. Just keep going. So by the time of the event, I had 23 yeses. 18 showed up, right? And I got a couple of orders right after the event. But I had all those people I was talking with. So I was circling back to over 300 people, sharing the recording, asking them, what interested you? Can I invite you to the next event? What's going to happen? And so now for this, I have well over 300 people I'm inviting to the virtual. I have well over 100 people I'm inviting to the local. But they're so interested because they've been watching all this time and I've been staying in touch and my funnel continues to fill. And then with that, who do you know? Who do you know? Invite them, please. Share it with them. And it just keeps growing.
That. So again, you guys, I think a lot of times we measure our success on one thing, and that this is truly a long game a lot of times. And I'll say again, even social media. So again, I have all these people that have asked for info on Vivix Plus. I might convert a few, but I have now my list for anything we're doing is growing because the more people you talk to, the more chances that you have that they actually want to purchase. And I think that in today's world, people watch a little bit more. Like they want to see. They want to see that you're not a flash in the pan, that you're not talking about something else tomorrow, but they watch you. And the more consistent you are, and the more that you show up, and the more education you provide, and the more value you provide, right? That's when those sales start coming through. So, you guys, I think I answered all the questions. Yes, everything will be in boards. Thank you, you guys. She is crushing these events. And I love how pretty you made them. It's just so cool. It's so cool. I keep thinking about like, what would I like? And if I went to an event like this, because I'm super competitive, like I'd be doing all these things and competing with the girlfriend I brought. Like, it, right? So I love it. Okay. I am gonna figure out where I am here. Here we go. Okay, you guys. So let's flip back a little bit to social, and then we're gonna go into the next thing here. So again, you have to give people a reason to raise their hand for information, right? And not just a link, for information. So social media never closes the sale. Again, I wish it was easy. Remember the old days, like 10 years ago, you could literally like, I remember my first company, I could be like, I have this really great mascara, and it would just like sell like crazy. Now we're in a different world, right? So again, social media never closes that sale, but it creates the conversation. So I just did some of the great posts and pictures and there's so many. You guys, I will say our team crushes this. But the job of social media and what we're putting online is to get people to stop their scroll. So stop their scroll, get some interest, right? And then you can invite them to that next step, whatever that is, whether it's an invite to an event, again, a link for a product, but that's kind of how that process goes. So I will say your photo matters. Yes, 100%. And also with everyone on mobile right now, the first two lines that they see matters. So I always try and have like something really good in those top two lines that they're going to see when they're on a phone that will make you stop the scroll. So again, you could have really great information, but if it's buried sometimes, like you want to think about when you're doing your post, what's at the very top that they're going to see when they're looking on their phone with your photo, right? So I just put some examples of content down here. I will say right now though, like again, I've been a tester for this. Why I'm getting the most bites on my social media right now isn't all the stats, because a lot of people don't even understand it, and I try and put a few in there, but it's my sleep. That is why most people are actually asking me about this product because they know I don't sleep. It's like I talk about it all the time, and the fact that I am sleeping is everything. So that's been kind of my biggest thing. So that's sometimes what I lead with now. And when I get into conversations in Messenger, I talk about that right away. Because again, a lot of times we can get stuck with like way too many stats that they don't know. Again, they don't know what VO2 max is, they don't know what NAD is, they don't know. So using words like NAD plus, I keep saying it's like the youthful molecule. Like that's kind of been my go-to. They're like, okay, that makes sense, right? It helps me sleep. that makes sense, right? If your result is it gives you more energy, that makes sense to people. I feel more balanced. I feel happier. That makes sense to people. So make sure that again, when you're doing your posts and you're giving people to raise a hand for more information, for an invite to an event, for an invite, to a product conversation, share why you're excited. You can do a little bit about like, hey, this is what I just learned about cellular aging. Because again, I never try and come in like I'm the expert because I'm not. So I'll sometimes be like, I just learned this. It's really cool, right? I like to talk about longevity a lot now. Your own journey is everything. So who all has their Vivix Plus? And are you documenting day one? This is how I feel. Day two, this is how I feel. And you might feel it's repetitive to put this in your stories, you guys, but it is not. It actually will create a rhythm where people are like, hey, wait, did I miss day four? What's she feeling now? Right? So if you are not, that's my challenge you to start. So when you're part of a pilot project, you have to do that, you guys. So we had to, as part of our requirements, submit a video at 2 weeks. I would actually challenge you all to do it at 1 week because if you're feeling it, go talk in your stories, right? Then make notes at like 30 days, even like every 2 weeks, do a quick video. Like, what am I experiencing? We have a really great thread right now in the Impact Collective where I asked everyone to go post their results. So besides your own journey, you can go and grab everyone's results. That's going to be my story flow tomorrow. Is I'm just going to like hammer people with like how they're feeling, right? Okay, so then if you're going to launch a group or you have people that use it, you can do behind the scenes, you can do their personal experience. But right now, we are leveraging our own results and our friends' results, which is all of us, right? Yes, 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 I'm reading it. FOMO, I love it. Yes. So Victoria just suggested doing a vlog. Yeah, like you're talking about it, right? What I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing. So document, 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 document. Even if you don't use it right away, you can use it later. Okay. We all had to, when we got our box, this was early June, I think, when we got it. I did all the video back then and saved it to post it today, right? So you can use it and reuse it as you go. Okay, let's talk a little bit now. Where am I right here? About the exclusive 60-day test group. So this was something that I watched people do with Liquid BioCell Life. And I watched especially other teams do it really well because they hadn't experienced BioCell Life like we had. And so, the watching their success with the group was everything. And I will say that the people that really blew up BioCell Life that weren't us who came from that world were people that did a test group. It was consistent over and over again. So instead of like, hey, want to buy my stuff, right? You're putting together a small group of people to test out our newest longevity product with me for 60 days. So why does this work? It's like a psychological thing where people think about like, oh, I'm participating, I get to contribute versus just buying a product. So we want to cover this. So we've had a few people, I will say we'll probably give some shout outs here, some other people who've done this, but I want to bring on Tanya to start. And we're going to talk about what these girls have been doing with their test group. So again, you guys, you can do this alongside what you're doing on your social media with your events. And again, it's just creating a space where you can create a test group. So Tan, do you want to unmute? Come on in here. So can you share? Okay, so you guys, I went and stole her post off of her wall. It was blown up. So I was like, perfect. So let's share a little bit about like give everyone an idea of kind of what you guys are doing, how you're doing it, what happens like again when people are commenting, and then we'll transition more into the actual logistics of the group.
Perfect. So, we put our heads together when we got home from Nashville and we thought, how can we create something that our whole team can use? We initially thought referral posts, host a post. We've all done those. And then we thought, no, that's not going to work because this is a brand new product. We need experiences. We need testimonies. We need stories. How can we do that? And just like you mentioned, Jen, from previous campaigns with BioCell, we thought this is the way. Let's do a trial group. So a few of us leaders put our heads together. We went into chat. We asked for its help. This is what we want to do. This is the result that we want. This is who's going to be using it. This is the information on the product, the clinicals, the proof, and it helped us create this campaign that we've rolled out to our teams. And from there, we gave the teams a couple of different the verbiage to send out. So a couple options depending on them and their personality. I took one of them and then I went over to my chat that I've been chatting with for a couple of years, who knows me very well, who knows my audience, who knows my, my type of posts and my loves and likes in life. And it spit me out a beautiful post. And my, headliner, which, when people are scrolling, the first thing they're seeing is founding members wanted. And I've had a really great response because that's caught people's attention. And what I've done from there is I've taken it over to Messenger and I've filled them in on the details. And I've told them we are launching this amazing product with clinical proof behind it. We're looking for testimonies and experiences, and we want people to do it with us. Are you interested? And then at the time, over this past week and a half, we've had these pre-launch packages and huge savings of like $50. So I tell them, you're going to get free shipping if you jump in right now and participate with us. And the response has been really good. I also took that same post, reworded it again, and threw it in Project Broadcast tonight. And I can see my phone dinging me here for people who want founder. So I told them, if you want to be a part of this this group, drop founder below. If you just want the product, drop Vivix. And so I can see both words flashing up on my phone right now, which excites me very much. So clearly it was effective. And Stacy, who's coming on next with me, is going to go through a few more of the details.
Okay, I want to just show you guys. So remember, so this is a screenshot of this on my phone. So why is this post effective? Two things. Number one, it's a great picture of her close up, and people that know her will stop. And she's holding again something, so you're like, hey, what is that? And this, see how like founding members, this is all you see when you're scrolling on your phone, which made me stop. And I was like, what's she doing? Oh, right? So you see how that, remember I was saying earlier, how when you do your post, think about what's going to be at the top. This is a perfect example of a freaking phenomenal post because everyone's like founding members. Like, people are like nosy. Either they want to know how they can be a part of it or they want to know even what she's doing. So it's phenomenal. Then she gets into the post, like, want to be one of the first people. Yes, I do, right? She gives a couple little things, but not like a ton of information or too much info, and then the rest goes into Messenger, right? That's where you're actually talking about it. And I do like that she shares the expectation on there as well, because I think that a lot of times people might think, oh, she's going to give it to me for free, and then you get a bunch of freeloaders, which is not what we want, who are looking at your post. Okay, so I'm going to flip it to the next slide, and now Stacy will take it from here. So again, you guys, this is their thing. They're capturing the attention, getting into conversation and talking about the group. And then now let's flip it over. Okay, go ahead, Stace.
All right, thank you. And first of all, I need two shout outs here. Cindy Yeland was the one that put our scripts together to begin with. And Allison Ritchie, thank you so much for putting that graphic up about the test group, because that's what sparked my brain in the first place. And you are a sweetheart for sharing. So what we want to do here is, what we have done is we've created a little bit of a contest. So we have invited people in for the 60 days, like Tanya was saying, and then we have a little incentive. If they stay with us for 60 days, meaning they have to purchase in August and September, their name is going to go into a draw. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take whoever purchases and we're going to use Allison's graphic there, check it off, put their names on it, and use that as content as well. Now, from there, why we're doing this, and like Tanya's post does it beautifully, is we want to catch attention. We want to convert conversations. This is everybody. Jen has said it. Tanya has said it. And then we want to gather data. Why? So that we can use that data to catch attention, to convert conversations, to gather more data. Okay. So it's just a cycle that we're doing here.
we are going to, I already said that they had to purchase the 2 months. And obviously, their first order has to happen before August 30th. Otherwise, this just isn't going to work properly. We've created urgency by saying that there are spots, the spots are limited. Okay. We've got as many spots as needed, but we're not telling them that, right?
I love it.
We're creating a little bit of urgency there. And then from here, we're going to take this info and we're going to take these people and we want to put them in one spot. Now, don't panic. There is a variety of spots that you can put them if you so choose. Okay, you can put them in a project broadcast. You can send them messages like that. You can put them in a Telegram chat. You can put them in a messenger chat. You could put them in a text chat. You could do an email blast, a Facebook event, or a Facebook group. Why do we want to do this? Why do I want to do this? I want to do this because I want to dote over them for 60 days. I want to encourage them. I want to empower them. I want them to keep going. Because if we can get them to keep going for 60 days, we're going to have them forever. Okay. But it's our job to baby them along this route. However you choose to do it, I suggest that when you do it, that you are very supportive, but you're asking quality questions. And what I mean by that is you want to ask the questions for the results and the testimonials that you want the answers for so that you can use that as your data. Okay. So don't just say how you feeling, point out things that they should be looking for that maybe they're not.
Like you would say, who's falling back asleep when you wake up in the middle of the night, or who has better sleep, or like again, you lead those questions. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't ever do open-ended. Yes, brilliant.
You always ask the question that you want the answer for.
Yes.
That's from working with kids in school for a long time. You just got to direct them, right? Again, so if you coach them through the 60 days and you point out their highlights, then we're golden. Now, this goes on past the 60 days. Once we get them in the 60-day or through the 60 days, we do the draw. Everybody's happy. Now we're going to transition them into Be Ageless. Okay. We're going to highlight their story. If they have stuck with us for that long, we're going to highlight them and Be Ageless. And now Be Ageless is going to start dripping and doing its thing so that they are now seeing other products. Okay. So it's a loop. You got to go from A to Z and fill in all the blanks in between. Now, we've put this in our little landing page that we've sent out because I don't know. I've gone through the 12 hallmarks. I can't pronounce any of them, and I've been trying for a week. Okay. So how the hell is a customer or somebody watching me online going to know what I'm talking about? Okay. But we know what low energy means. We know what low stamina means, sore, achy joints, brain fog, heart, metabolic, I can't read. We know those words. So we can work with those words and point those out on posts.
I love that.
Now we transition over to our good, better, best. Oh, well, and we've got a bestest there. You've got 4 on there.
Okay, yeah, I sprung that on her.
All
So
right.
we did these today, and the only reason I did it, you guys, and then we took Andrea's design to make them kind of prettier. I'll put those in Telegram. I wanted to show people truly with just Vivix on its own, because a lot of us are starting the conversation with Vivix, but we want to transition them here. And again, you could also then add the creatine or the energizer in Canada. But yeah, they were working off the old ones, and I just added this as an extra bonus.
Gorgeous. But what I wanted to add is if you're in that conversation with that BioCell, this is the perfect opportunity to upsell the Vivix Plus and then get them into the group because they're going to want to be a founding member, right? Who wouldn't? Okay, so that's what we have.
I love it. Okay, so one thing as you were talking, Stace, the other thing that I see happening, and I put it in the chat, is you have this group now of people who are like, they're now friends. They're like, oh, and Mary's sleeping better, and Sally over there, like her energy. Okay, well, I need to figure out my energy. So you actually have just created community between all these people. And again, you've also just shown them how simple it is. Like, guess what? This is what we do here as a team. Like, this is legit what we do. Like, how simple it is for them to, then to see, like, kind of like what Jen was talking about with Jenny when she saw an in-person event. You guys are literally doing that in a group aspect. So now, again, Mary's like, hey, not only am I sleeping better, I like made these new friends. I'm happier. These girls are making money. Why can't I? It's so good, you guys. Like, it's so good. So you actually are taking them through the full pathway of what we do, why we do, and the community on top of it, which I love. I love. So, okay. So yeah, I will put those all, there's a lot of things I need to put in boards later. It might be tomorrow. But love this. How you guys, okay, I need some love in the chat. How do you guys feel about this? Did you get some ideas so far on how you could maybe host an event without it being so scary, or how you could do a test group? I love how they broke it down, you guys. And I know Allison Rucci has done it. I think Dr. Carol has done it before with BioCell. So this is just, again, we've just layered. And I will say that the one thing I love so much about this team is the sharing, because when you share an idea, someone else can take it and then add their spin on it, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And it's like, oh, it's so good. Okay, I love it. I hope that you all have something that you can act on tonight. Now, why, again, I just want to like reiterate like why people love being part of something exclusive. I get to be first. I get to be first. Like, okay, don't, like, I can tell you because I was in the pilot project. I felt that. I was like, yes. Every time they ask me, I'm like, hallelujah. I don't know what I did, but I'm so glad they asked me again, right? And whatever like requirements they ask, like if they're like, you need to get your social content up in Dropbox, I'm like, you need to like do your survey. I'm like, because I want to keep getting back, right? So again, I get to be one of the first. This is your group. These are the people in your group. You feel belonging. I'm doing this with other people, the community, accountability. That's a huge one. If you're just doing it on your own, products show up, you're like, I'll throw out my closet and deal with it later. Accountability is everything. So in that group, in their 60-day group, if people are like sharing their results and being accountable, you're more likely to as well. Your customers are more likely to. Access, you get more access to the education, the support. Curiosity, I just want to see what this stuff's going to do for me, right? And purpose. Because, I say this a lot, like sometimes when people are maybe a bit shy to share, and I'm like, your results with this will help someone else. Just like with the business, right? It will help someone else. So don't just give them a product, give them an experience, you guys. We are really good at creating that. So I want to just talk about leveraging past events. So we had not one but two events last week. We're going to have one this week. So Dr. Phil and I did a little live just talking about Vivix Plus. Dr. Phil always explains it in a way that I can understand it. And I try and come in as like the normal girl, right? So he does the science, I do the normal. Um, that has had a ton of views. I have got a lot of business out of it. A lot of people have told me they've shared it. They're getting business out of it. Again, having a doctor edify it is everything. So you can still share these past events. So whether you're in conversation with someone about the product, if you're stuck a little bit, be like, hey, I've got a really great event. They don't know that it happened a week ago. You can literally copy and paste and send that. Then the BioAge Blueprint. This was earlier today. We have 1,400 people who viewed this, you guys. 1,400 eyes on one event. Imagine how long that would take us to get 1,400 people into one room. So I want you to think of these events as rooms. And the rooms that you can invite your people to, not only can you understand and hopefully something, the way that Andrea explains it is you're like, oh, that makes sense, right? But it's a great tool to leverage. With the BioAge reprint, blueprint, I've also built out a flip book of those beautiful slides. Those slides, that's all Andrea, you guys. Like, they are stunning and gorgeous and beautiful and sexy, and we all dressed in black so that we matched. But they are so good. So you could then go grab the PDF of those slides. You could use them for your events, or you could just like use bits and pieces when you're talking about things, right? You can go in and grab the flip book of those slides and send it to someone. Like, hey, I've also grabbed this flip book so you can read it as you go. But you want to be leveraging. So I myself, and you guys, I think I'm pretty skilled at talking about this. I've got 4 new customers from past events this week, and one that I need to phone about joining. So like, that's a big deal. So if you're sitting here like, hey, I want those shoes. I want the incentive. I want a Star Club this month. I want to level up. This is how you do it. You have to use the tools, okay? So it's not all on you. Leverage those tools. So that is the past event. Then the other thing that's working really well for me right now is our landing page. Have you all looked at the landing page? So when you log in, this is on my laptop. Whoops, text box. I was probably supposed to write something there. Let's just delete that. Um, so when you look on your laptop, this is what it looks like. You click on BioAge, and this beautiful page comes. And the product bundles are at the top, but scroll down and it talks about those 5 longevity pathways that Stacy was saying she can't pronounce it. Yeah, it's there. So I today went into my landing page and I copied and pasted all that information and built out an email using their information. It was brilliant. So when you click on BioAge, you're going to get this at the very top. So again, this is what it looks like on the phone. This is what it looks like before you click. And then they kind of look similar. So right at the top is this BioAge system. And I can click and get my score right away. Now you can just send them the link from the share tools place in your back office that goes right to the assessment. I like, this is me, my take on this. I like this better because it talks more about it. It's not just like a link to a quiz and then they don't really know the rest. So I like the landing page to send them the quiz. Does that make sense, you guys? If you are doing cross-border, you will again go to sponsor someone in the back office. You can choose Canada or the US. So if I'm sending my BioAge to an American, I got to go to sponsor someone, click US member, and then I click on BioAge and I send them that. Okay, so you can do that cross-border too, which I also love. Again, I just don't like to just send the quiz because this is so well done. It's beautiful. It talks about the longevity pathways. So my messaging is that, right? Like, I'm going to send you a link, but just scroll to the very bottom and you can read a little bit about the 5 longevity pathways. Like, I had no idea, right? Then do your quiz, then make sure you message me. So that is another tool that we have that is in our toolbox. And the final tool is the assessment. So again, I send them this over here so that they get the full meal deal. But when they click on get your score, it takes them to this. So now again, I will say in my personal experience, this is the difference. So I could send them this. It looks really pretty with a little bit of like example, or I could just send them this and they might not even go through it all because they're like, oh, Shackley's at the top. Okay, right? So I like to send this because it's really pretty. It's very well done. Corporate has done an amazing job on this. Okay, so I like to go straight to BioAge. So if you haven't yet been to the BioAge section, you need to check it out. And again, there's the tools. Now, how I'm using the tool is, again, first off, before they get on there, I'm explaining it's not their age. Because they're, if you said go do your BioAge and you don't really explain it, they're like, dude, I got 94, like I'm 50, right? So you have to explain this. So I'm like, this is a score. The higher is actually better on the score. And also, I want you to think about this as your baseline. This is your baseline. And we have a guarantee that you can use this BioAge reset stack that we've put together that addresses all 5 of the longevity systems. And we're going to we're going to increase that for you, right? So I do like to explain that ahead of time, but that they're not feeling like crap if they got a low score. And also, I even like that the high scores tell you areas that you should look at. And I'll say that even to someone. So if they come back with like a high score and then they're like, yeah, I don't need your stuff. I'll be like, I also had a 92. And I also know that I have a lot of room for growth in my, whatever system kind of thing. So I have that conversation with them still. And if they're an existing customer, I also say, well, congratulations. That's because you've been using my product for the last year. So again, I definitely edify that. So that is everything, you guys. I hope that, again, my goal for tonight's training was that all of you learn how to launch. You just don't think that like throwing a post on your wall is a launch because it's not. That you are maybe motivated, encouraged, inspired to do your own event in person. And again, it doesn't have to have all of those things. If you're like, I can't find the hand thing on Amazon, do the sit stand, like do a couple of them. It's still fun and interactive. And that the idea of creating a 60-day test group. Remember why 60 days on this product is because that's how long the Vivix test group was, right? So it kind of aligns with that. And how creating a test group, whether it's you on your own or you getting together with some people. If you're like, okay, I'm a team of one, then start reaching out, start finding some people, and you're like, hey, I want to do this with you. Anyone else? Right? But I hope that this inspires you and has given you the tools that you need. And then just the quick review on the BioAge landing page, the events we've done in the past, and reminder that if you want to get a new ambassador, you're going to want to have them on Thursday. All right, you guys, I hope that I filled your cup with some ideas. Appreciate you all. Have a good one. Bye bye. Oh, I need to do a picture. I'm going to do that before we're all gone. Whoever's still here. Yay. New video next. All right, you guys. Have a good one.